quotation next time lang.
Yep,
And
yep.
okay ra, sir.
Okay, Rajan. Okay,
Sige,
Rajan.
sir. Thank
The
you.
only reason I prefer scheme 2 is you got the 20 parking spaces in there. So scheme 1, you can reorient it so you can get the 20 parking spaces. But
Yes,
if
sir. Okay.
anyone submits preliminary na not less than 20 parking spaces ang bus, they will fail.
Sige, sir. I'll work this
Okay.
out, sir. Thank you.
Sige. Okay. It's really there in the problem, huh? In the space requirements, 20 buses. Okay. Next, sorry. I know I asked Frances earlier. Um, Frances, are you here? Magnawa si Frances. Anyway, Maria Angela Ferrer.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. I will present, sir.
Sige, go ahead. Yeah, I don't know why my internet got weird in the middle there. It really went down to like 0.1 speed. Okay, now I'm stable at, whoa, 100.
Makita ra,
Okay,
sir?
team 1, I see it. Yep.
Okay, sir. So, this is for my scheme 1, sir. Kanang, the priority here is kanang the flow of the vehicles, gani, sir. So, that's why you can see here a semi-circular flow along the 20-meter road across Bayfront, sir. Kay, there is usually moagi ang buses niya kay SM City, murag medyo private siya, sir ba? So, there na og situate ang vehicle access. So makita nimo sir nga tagsa-tagsa siya og path for the taxi and then for the private vehicles. Then along sa private vehicle kay naa pod siya yung own parking spaces. So easy ra. And then there are drop-offs areas pod for every like for every circulation sa type of vehicle. So dira, and then the outer one kay ang buses, sir. So arrival there sila mo stop, then departure here. And then same location ra for the waiting area para ma-covered sila sa building footprint, sir. Kay ganan ko nga matabunan sila. And then access, pedestrian access through here kay ma-pass through man drop off here so makaagira sila. And then also from the outside of the entire property. And then basically, all of the passenger areas are located sa ubos, sir. So, ang concession spaces, ako siya giatubang sa SM. And then, the rest of the open spaces, kay for landscaping na dyan na, sir, niya akong gituyo nga nice space here. Pero na i-buffer pod, sir, para murag, dili siya puro abog, inana gani, sir. And then, ang main concept lang jud here kay mo highlight siya sa what you call this kanang multimodal na functionality gani, sir, nga gatapok pero na separation and then sir. And then for my second floor kay ang iyang elevation kay naa diri sa SM Dapit. So ang positive point ani niya, sir, kay mas dako siya og room for expansion. So one side ra gani akong building so maka-expand pa siya here ana. But
Wait, I can't tell where your building is.
this one, sir. So this one is the whole
Floor
footprint,
plan.
sir.
Yep.
And then for the
So L
second
na
floor
siya sa
kay
Mhm.
inverted L mo ginana, sir.
Yeah,
Unya
and then where's the expansion point?
pwede maka-expand kay open raman ni siya, sir. So in the future, sir ba, if ever kay pwede ni
Reuse, yeah.
ma-use. Oo. Kay wala man siya building footprint whatsoever. So ang roads probably maguba na siya, sir. Unya here mo ni ang second floor sa upper part.
At bang
Ang
sa
good
Radisson?
atbang sa SM, sir, kani ang second floor.
Okay.
So like elevated siya dapit SM. Unya both weakness o kuan siya, sir, kay naa man ni sa west dapit. So mainitan siya pero at the same time pwede pod siya ma-strength kay mahimo siya og kanang shade gani, sir, sa ana.
Shade sa unsa?
So mao na shade sa rest of the area here, sir. Kay ang arrival diri man sila manaog.
So
So
i-block niya ang sun.
yeah, slightly. Pero nagya po na siya kuan dira, sir. Pero at least ba,
Okay,
nana
skip
gani,
to.
sir. And then scheme 2 kay Similar ang iyang entrance sa buses, pero this time ako gi-prioritize ang pedestrian kay kabantay man ko sir sa akong first scheme nga maglabang-labang man sila sir. So I separated the taxi drop-off and the private vehicle drop-off. Diri na sila sa SM City dapit kay usually there man na ma-access ang private ug taxi. Nya open space na lang din na diri sir for landscaping or kanang possible garden space. And then here kay same ra sir ako gitapok ang bus parking kay para ma-cover gyapon siya sa building footprint. This time sir kay mas dako siya og building footprint. And then
Mhm.
so passengers kay mas convenient gani para nila kay within the same block ra sir ba di na maglabang-labang. So for the second floor sir kay in comparison sa first naman siya sa babaw, for the second floor kay na diri. So the entire second floor ma-shaded siya sa Radisson na hotel sir. So landong gyud siya here kani sir.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
yeah, mo na siya sir.
Sige, show me scheme 1 again.
This one sir.
Okay, ang ground floor lang sa. Oops. Okay, there. Okay. Save. Oh, just a small note. When you do like, this is Ferrer. When you do like second floor, try to include the labels gapon, like where the Bayfront Hotel is, where the Radisson Hotel is. And sometimes it's disorienting. And then scheme 2 ground floor.
Okay sir.
Okay.
This
So
one
I
sir.
think my confusion about the multimodal provisions thing, it doesn't mean that for me in our class, it doesn't mean that we have to provide vehicle parking. It's just like a
Yeah,
drop-off area. So let me share my screen. Thank you for that.
okay sir.
And then the whole idea of creating a scheme around vehicle accessibility is sort of like what we're trying not to do. So we're nasayang imong scheme 1 with a goal that's like not what we're trying to do here. So it says here multimodal, integrate provisions for feeder modes, ensure conflict-free circulation, and facilitate seamless transfers in order to create an impression that the journey is continuous. So nowhere in this statement does it say that you provide private vehicle parking. It's just um, what we say feeder modes. Kanang murag drop-off
Mm,
area rin siya. So no, not necessary to have so much parking. So just think about it good. Who are the kinds of people who use the bus terminal, the North Bus
mm.
Terminal? So based on the videos, oops, wrong one. Again, I would ask you to watch the videos that I have so painstakingly recorded for you guys. Now, if you just look at the video over here, where is the playlist for Air 3200? 3200. Even just one, kanilang yun, ang street top view. So you see the people who are actually using these buses are here. These are the people on the lower right-hand side. Makita ba mo?
Yes sir.
Okay, who can't afford cars. So it's kind of kanang mind-boggling to me. That I think it's because of the building code. 90% sure it's because of the building code. It says that bus terminals need to have parking, blah, 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 blah. But if we look at the site, we're in SM City. We're almost, let's see, maybe 20% of lot is parking. And then there's also a 6-story parking building over here. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-story day parking building. So it really can feel free to use that, use the site. And again, as I discussed last week, you can like even ignore having vehicle parking there. So you really don't need to put that much parking. Even like don't need to have vehicle parking, period. Um, but if you can figure out a way where, for example, you get 50%, that's fine. Or if you include staff parking, that's fine. But really, our main goal here blah blah blah. Specifically for our class, is accessible. The bus terminal should be convenient, barrier-free, facilitate streamlined internal circulation. The ingress and egress points should be located as they are not in conflict with traffic circulation in the peripheral road network. Also, basically, create a state-of-the-art north bus terminal near as in the design solution must require a new approach to planning and designing terminals. So not anymore the old views, not anymore the what they call this road heavy. It needs to have a lot of parking. It needs to have a minimum number of parking. It needs to be a vital integrated part of the urban realm. So you can ask your urban planning teachers. Um, Mom Solis will also have some a very good sort of idea of what being integrated into the urban realm means. For me, it means more open space, more spaces for pedestrians, and less spaces for vehicles, because that's how we're currently designing Cebu City. All about parking for vehicles, all about movement for vehicles, not enough movement for people. So again, I just need to reiterate based on the last two examples. Now we're not thinking about these people here in the right hand side. They're walking towards the bus stand, and that walk is not impossible to do, but it's not very comfortable. It's just you're walking through bare pavement. There's nothing to look at. There's nothing to uplift without to make you feel good about going to the bus terminal. There's nothing there. So that's what I'm trying to this is what I'm looking for in your designs. How do you make that walk from SM to the North Bus City Terminal, or from SM to the My Bus Terminal over here, if you want to include the My Bus Terminal, more comfortable, because there's no one driving here. And then if you want to say to make it state of the art, to make it like more for the upper class, they might want to park here, but more likely you can just say because it's free for all, you can just say they can park in SM. Really, for me, more interesting is how you create interesting and visually appealing walking spaces that would connect SM City to your North Bus Terminal and connect Bayfront to the North Bus Terminal. And maybe even optional, you can connect Radisson Blue to the North Bus Terminal. Okay, sorry that sounded a bit ranty. But anyway, that goes back to your schemes over here. So I think you already know which scheme I prefer. Pedestrian scheme all the way. But if you want to
Okay, sir.
maintain the layout of scheme one, you can just make it more pedestrian friendly. And you can definitely, the parking layout for scheme two also, I think this would be a good number for car parking. If you really want car parking, like it's in your idea na this will be for, this is not just for the lower income people, but also the high income people. If they want to go to the north areas of Cebu City, but for the high income people, they would just drive there or get their kwan. Got like a bunch of friends together. They rent a van and they just drive there. They don't need the North Bus Terminal. But anyway, so mo na siya. Not so much problems with the layout here. You have your retail concession spaces. That's much appreciated. You already thought about that, and you also have the second floor. That's very good. But if your ground floor is not well planned, the whole building kind of like the whole design falls apart. So that's why I just want to emphasize na you need kanang the number one goal of our bus terminal here is accessibility, and this means accessibility for the pedestrians. So that's why I picked scheme two. If you want to continue with scheme one, you can just keep the shape and like make it more pedestrian friendly. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any? Sorry, I was like using up so much time. Do you have any questions?
None so far, sir. Dagan ko gi-change.
Yeah. So it's good that we caught it here. Okay. If you submitted that final, there would be problems.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Sige. Okay. Next one, we have just to really hammer in that message that we're designing for people. We did Mundaris already. It's already 8:50. Okay, Arta, where's Frances? Frances wanted to, but I think she disappeared. Wala. And then Lou already requested earlier that she wanted to have a consultation. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Okay. So naigura gid sa time. I was worried I was like ranting too much.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is my scheme one. So for my problem statement, I just pointed out that there was in the current bus terminal there was no proper flow of pedestrian pathways. So
Mhm.
it kind of lessens the user safety, and then there needs to be a structure to provide proper services, like for example restrooms or like standby stations for the drivers. So there's the lack of those services or like
Mhm.
to house those services, and then to create an experience for the user. So it's like to encourage the general public to use, enjoy and use the bus terminal. And then for the
Mm.
objectives for this scheme, I wanted to create a systematic flow of vehicular and pedestrian lanes and to create a unique building form to entice the general public since it's in a corner lot. So I think it would be nice if there's something there. Okay,
Mhm.
so for the concept, for this specifically, but it's not like this is the main concept. So it's a separation of spaces. So that's the departure building and the arrival building, and then the bus route and then the public or private route. So my bus entrance is by the 30-meter road. So it just goes through the middle and then bus exit. So initially, I had buses here in the middle, but then I decided to add like a hump, like a big hump with a
Mm.
pedestrian lane there, so that people who are walking in the middle or like going to one building to another would feel safe passing through this route. So I just placed my idle parking here to fit in the 20 buses requirement, and then behind that will be the maintenance shop, and then a public restroom. So I guess for the public restroom, this would target for the drivers, especially the drivers and the staff. And
Mhm.
then here on the other hand is my taxi and private vehicle entrance. So I have two entrances for the taxi and private vehicle. So one is for the departure because I wanted to like separate the flow of people going in and going out. So di
Mhm.
sila magtagpo. And then, yeah, so here is my entrance for the departure. And then for the other hand, by SM City is my other entrance. So yeah, I decided to put like a drop off for the PUJ, but then I kinda feel like it's gonna cause so much traffic. So yeah, I'm not
Mm.
so sure if this is an ideal space for me to put like a U-turn drop off for the PUJ. Yeah, so I guess that's it for this scheme. Like my strength for this is there's a one-way flow, like all vehicles just goes through one direction, and then the separation of building uses. So the weakness for this is there's more impervious surface ratio, and then yeah, the PUJ drop off may cause traffic with this kind of layout. And then the parking for PWD and private vehicles can only be accessed if you pass through this road. So
Mm.
yeah, and then I just added like notes, like personal notes, like why I like the scheme. So I just thought that like stacking up shapes would be interesting. And then for me personally, the flow looks kind of clean, like with a one-way flow,
Mhm.
except for the PUJ. So I'm not so sure what maybe I can like, yeah.
Yeah, maybe like what do you call this? Maybe give them a bit more room to make the U-turn or something, and
Mhm.
then yeah, let's just go to scheme two.
Okay. Uh, wait. Scheme. Okay, so hold on. So for my scheme two, I just pointed out another problem. So users needs to walk a long distance to get into the bus terminal, and then there are no amenities or places to stand by while waiting for the bus. So like people would have to wait in SM or like stand by out in the open. So for my objectives is to create a user sensitive design layout. So it's like arranging spaces that's nearer to where they usually pass, which is by SMCT, where the pedestrian pass. And then
Mhm.
to create a space not only intended for the bus users, but also for the public. So my concept for this specifically is accessibility and multimodal. So there's the separation of vehicular passages. So I have my bus entrance here, and then I have like a drop off for the PUJ and then drop off for the taxi and private vehicles. So the two-story building is located nearer to the again, yeah, it's nearer to the pedestrian space, which is by SM. So it's nearer for them to travel. So for the strength, I guess I kind of fixed the problem for the drop off for the PUJ and then the taxis, and then the parking for the PWD and private vehicles for like the staffs or managers can easily be accessed. So it's like here, and then they just go here. So it's easier for them to access, and it's
Mhm.
accessible to everyone basically. And then it's one whole structure, and then the structure is near pedestrian lane. So those are my strength. And then for the weakness, users needs to travel towards the portal to ride their buses. So I guess that's the only weakness, like that. Yeah, like you have to
Mm.
walk back to the portal. Yeah. So personal notes, portal would be interesting to integrate into the design, and then the drop off creates a smoother flow of traffic. So
Okay, good.
that's all I say.
Okay, I'll share my screen and also share
Okay.
my comments. Let's see here. I already took a screenshot earlier. I'm learning.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so um, let's see here. I really like the flow of Scheme One, and I think it's also a bit more visually interesting with like the two masses and like the third mass on top of here. Um, Let me see. I think a it would be good in both schemes if you put the maintenance and idle parking here, and then maybe the PUJ would be somewhere here. Because this is the SM city, and most people would be walking to the terminal like this. This is the shortest distance from your passengers, your primary passengers, to the building. So this corner here, I think really has to be reserved for or you should be very sensitive in this area for pedestrian movement. You could like make them walk down here, but it's a bit more inconvenient. And I think they also walk something like this. So maintenance spaces should be not in the Radisson SM City corner. So maybe you can flip that. Um, which scheme do I like between the two of them? I think I'm really leaning towards scheme one, mostly because pedestrians can get into the bus right away. There's a crossing here to get into the bus right away. And I think in a previous session, we mentioned that they could go upstairs in the second floor. That's also
Yes, sir. That's
hmm,
correct.
that's also a possibility because like it really depends on how the massing is done. And if you think you can pull that off, you don't need to have this here. Um, but it's also a good idea to have like ground access. But with the way things have laid out, and like I've also done a bit more research on bus terminals, I think going up one floor is fine, especially if it's like air conditioned. So I think yeah, you can remove this if you want. So you can have the full 20 here and additional idle space parking up there. My only note would be to move the idle parking here or somewhere here. It's either here on the corner left side or here on the corner right side. And then since I'm already choosing scheme one, another thing to develop with scheme one over here is we can reduce the roads here because it looks like it's a two-way road on this side. I'm highlighting. Ay kanang two-lane there, not two-way. Is that why it's wider?
Yeah, specifically for the taxi lane as well, sir. Because like before, I had my portal there, like by the taxi lane, and
Mhm.
then you mentioned to take the portal out, like for it's kind of like Ayala,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like
Yeah. And
taxi
then
lane
the
like
taxis
side
will
niya.
be parking
Mm-hmm.
here on the
Yeah.
side. That's why it's longer. Okay. Okay, so this one is fine. So the next step would be to sort of design the canopy, how it will be sheltered, so it's convenient for the pedestrians to wait for the taxi, and the taxi will go out. Like from arrival, they go to the taxi and they go out. Then if they want to go to the departure, yeah, if this PUJ lane entrance will be moved here. So there will be like a U-turn thing here. Or they don't even need to make a U-turn anymore. They can just go like that. Like the jeepneys go in here. There's like a jeepney waiting area somewhere here. So you have a series of vehicles waiting on this side in red, and they could probably just enter the same way. And I think for this your specific situation, you can combine the PUJ and taxi entrance. So you would have let me erase this. You could have taxi lane over here. Just color it in green. Taxi parking here in green, and then you can have some jeepney parking here in red. So when the passenger arrives, you can immediately see to his left all taxi, to his right all jeepney. So a lot more convenient. Also, that's what this is why scheme one is a lot more efficient and more visually kind of pleasing as well. And another small note here, sorry, 902. I don't think you need to open up the funnel like this because the bus movement is just reverse and then go out. So there's really no need for them to have this thing here. And it kind of looks like you're emphasizing the exit, which I don't think you need to do because the main feature of your bus terminal is your open space. So if you can have more green space like this, it would look much better. Plus, it will sort of mirror the wall of your building over here, going for that symmetrical look. And then you can add a bit of spice with it by having this like asymmetrical sort of second floor. So I'm thinking your massing will look something like I'm just drawing with a mouse. So you have like the symmetrical first floor with the symmetrical sort of landscaping over here, and then your exit over there, and maybe you can put some canopy over there, and then you can have your spicy twist with like uh, asymmetrical um, second floor here, and maybe you could do something with the roof or something like that. I don't know. This one has really a lot more potential than this one. This one is like generic, safe, and I really want to encourage you guys, especially because I'm removing a lot of the building code stuff, especially the parking, to really play with the form and like create something that will like enhance this area because this area SM City is very very kind of dead. It's just sayang yung kaya siya na space. And then if you can again, like I mentioned last week, put something there that will entice more visitors to like check it out. That's good for business, and also it really kind of again create more value out of this like huge parking lot that's not really doing anything except like gathering vehicles. Okay, so that's all of my notes. So okay, Vanessa.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so next we have. Sorry, we have to go a bit faster here. Sumaya, Hannah, is she here?
Morning, sir.
There you are. Okay, go ahead.
Para ka, sir.
Sorry, I'm 4 minutes late.
So, there, sir, akong wait. I started with kaning mga basic nga analysis, sir. Sa
Oh, good.
location, buildings, then ang public space and landscape niya. So, naapod ang sa transport kay dili raman bus terminal ang naa dito.
Mhm.
Okay, so sa surroundings, sir, naka-observe ko na like there is a Radisson Blue kay daghan kaayong palm trees, sir. So
Mm,
I realized nga pwede ko na i-utilize as kanang part of the landscape pud sa sa bus. It
mm,
can help sa sa reducing carbon footprint kung baga, sir.
mm,
Then for the parking space, ang daghan gid kayo mag-parking diha and also dito sa SM na ramp katong circular.
mm,
So what I did sa akong scheme is that gigamay lang nako ang parking spaces.
mm,
Then also road planters, okay, na sila sa SM road. Then sa adjacent view kay naa siya kani sir ang Cebu Daily News og Bayfront.
Mm.
So what was really relevant to me, sir, kay ang adjacent nga view, guys, sir, which is kaning parking. Pero like na may hidden cafe diya, sir, nga like kanang daghan kaayo green, sir ba.
Mm.
Um, it's it's crucial to kanang include it kay kanang dili kay ko familiar with landscaping, sir. So
Mm.
ganan ko i-match ako scheme dadto sa sa design. So I came up with this first scheme, sir. Um, ang ang arrangement niya is linear, sir. As
Mm.
same as katong sa subang dako sa una, sir, na inganib ang iyang arrangement. Kay when I was young, I traveled there, sir. Like not so
Okay.
young. Yeah. Mas
Younger.
younger.
You're old
Sir.
now.
Yep. So, sir, ganun. Ang inig-enter nila is that linear gyud siya, sir, then like ang flow sa mga tao, sir, kay like ticket then depart then ma-arrive sila uli din, sir.
Mm.
Sa SM is that mulabang sila diri nga part, then mo enter sila diri, pero like mas sa akong idea, sir, like mas ganan ko ibutang diri ang pedestrian lane,
Mm.
so that inig cross nila diretso na sila sulod sa sa building footprint,
Yep.
then or they can go here, like I can utilize this as a food park, sir. But yeah, ana, sir,
Mm.
akong idea. Kaya siya landscaping together with katong Radisson blue nga trees. And then kani siyang area, kani area is where buses will enter.
Mhm.
And this is the area where buses exit. Kay diri man ilang ruta, sir, panorte. Ana.
Mm.
So, kani siya, sir, kaning blue is pwede agianan siya sa taxi or pwede sa private vehicle. But sir,
Mm.
pwede ra ba isagol ang taxi o private vehicles?
I think for this specific, it really depends on the layout of your design. So in this
Mm.
specific case, okay ra. Okay, it's already kanang what do you call this? The bus parking is already very defined, and if you introduce another area, if you segregate the vehicle parking and the taxi entrance, maguba mong design. So I'd prefer for this specific case, na you can combine them. And I
Kay
have some notes on this layout, but I'll talk about it later. You discuss it.
ko answer kay kani siya ka part or daghan kay taxi. So I just thought nga like na may ma-marking dito sa SM, mas daghan gid taxi dire, pero pwede pod na private vehicle pod ang mo enter. Ano sir,
Excellent.
ako lang sagol,
Excellent.
sir.
Mm,
So,
very good.
kani siya nga part sa drop-off area is that naa siya unsa ni siya?
Race
Raised
crossing. Mm,
crossing kana, sir. Kay para like inig naig bus mo cross diri mas makita siya inig labang.
mm, exactly. Yep. One ang purpose niya. So, gi-race siya. So, hump siya at the same time, mas
Yes, sir.
visible ang tao na mo cross. So,
Dili
wala
mo
nag-excuse
fast
ang
and
bus
furious ang
driver.
bus din, sir.
Uh,
So, kana siya, sir, sa akong first scheme. So, ang akong
okay.
design concept diha is natural lighting, guys, sir. So, kuan ani kay naa siya skylight, sir. Possibly skylight dire dapit sa atrium niya.
Mm,
Then, naa siya PWD elevator towards sa second floor lang para like maka-use pud ang mga PWD sa sa second floor.
okay.
Passing employee niya. And for scheme 1, mao ni siya akong mga na-collage gyud, sir, like akong plano ibutang, sir. So,
Mm, very good.
for this one, kay like ang green atrium, like, pwede makalingkod ang tao. And yes. So, para sa mga door, naka-search ko aning like upward acting bifold doors.
Ah,
Nga na, sir. Kay like it seems practical, then kung manglimpyo man gani ang staff, kay like kuan sila, sir, ba? Like easy ra ang pag close and open nila, sir. Dili na mag bother sa electric nga, like if automatic nga door, mag shutdown pa or something para dili
mm,
siya maka maka-aberya guys, sir. Then
So is
less,
it just a question on the upward acting bifold door?
yes,
Are
sir.
they using it to allow more people to go inside?
Yes, sir. Tingnan na, sir.
Okay.
I
And
like
then
this one. So,
so it becomes more airy. But
yes, sir.
that does that mean yung space inside is no longer air conditioned?
Yes, sir.
So natural ventilation lang.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. I'm fine with that, kay. Better man gyud ang natural ventilation.
Yes, sir. Okay, so kani raised crosswalk, then ang iyang design is mainly of concrete nga na, sir. Then ingani yung parkinganan, sir. The bus.
Okay.
So for kanang water station ingani ang kaano ang naong niya versus katong water fountains nga kuan. Pwede na nimo ma-put anywhere. But yeah, I can opt for water fountains. Then kani siya kay braille terminals nga I can use para maka-access ang passenger sa information system nga kanaging butas, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Even the blind can use it. Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
So scheme 2, lahi akong kuan, horizontal akong ano niya, orientation. Then from Osmeña Road, ako siyang gigamit kay wait, let's see ha. Wait. Here sir, mao ni siya ang Osmeña Road nga entrance.
Currently, yep.
Yeah. So like kanang inig liko sa car, dili ra kay maka-interrupt sa ano sa 4 lanes. Okay, it's a very wide road. Okay. Then the exit is still in SM City, dire gyapon pa norte. Then the private vehicle and PWD parking kay ana siya. Dire gamay ra siya mga wait wala ko na count 12 bays. So ingana. Then they can exit here. I don't know if it's good, yes, sir. Ingana sa
Yeah, there's some issues here with scheme 2. Scheme 1 definitely is a lot better. Okay,
yes.
can you show me scheme 1 very quickly? I'll give you my comments.
Wait, sir.
So, snap. Kana makita siya tanan. Zoom out a bit more. Okay, okay, that. Okay. Save. This is 1, and then you show me scheme 2. I really, really appreciate the analysis. This is something that even last year, or like even the last 2 years, I don't think any of my students did this. So this is very good. It really shows that you analyze the site because you put it there, and then it's kind helps me with understand your thought process. It's very useful for me. I'll just like stop sharing lang so it doesn't eat up your your bandwidth. Okay. Okay, so very good analysis, much appreciated, and really like hopefully that will be useful to everyone as well. There's just so many things going on in any site, and then they could be like a source of inspiration, a source of basically help you design the building, and then it'll become more what do you call this, responsive to the site instead of something that's kind of completely independent of it. And you can usually, I think I would say 90% of the time, if you do that, you end up with a better design. So scheme 1, I think, is the most developed here. Definitely already I choose scheme 1. I really like the idea of including the taxi parking, but the execution could be a bit better. So just to highlight, I also, wrong layer. So this is for the class, not for the class. There are taxis that love to park here because like very obviously, because they're parking here, that means the parking in SM is not enough. So there is a demand for more taxi parking. And plus, since the taxis are already parking here, that means they know that there will be people who want to hire them. So let's take advantage of what's already existing on site and integrating it into the building. So this is why I think this is a very excellent observation. And then once you make that observation, you integrate it into the designs. This is, I think, very good architectural work. Now you go there, you visit, and I think you visited there physically because I saw your files. Or like, did you
Yes,
have
sir.
someone visit there? Okay, so that's very excellent. You
I
didn't
did.
have to, but
I
it's
did
much
go there.
appreciated. Yes. Okay, so let me see here. So we could have the parking here. I like the road like this, or maybe it doesn't have to go like that because like I I'm imagining the pedestrian movement would be they come in here, they arrive at the bus, and they could you need like some kind of connection to the taxi parking area here in yellow. Let me just like change to another color that's more visible, pink lang. So they come in here, they go into your terminal, or they come from the bus. I think the depends on where arrival or departure. Okay, the arrival bay is here. That's good. So from the arrival bay, they need some kind of connection to the taxi area. And you don't need to, I don't think you need to have this road here. You can just have it like go out like that. So you reduce the amount of road pavement. So you have more green space, something like that. So your
Okay,
drop-off
sir.
area doesn't need to be too big, just enough for maybe let's say 5 cars. So 5 cars is about 5 times 5, about 15 meters. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. About the same width as your building. So again, you can have more green space. And at that green space, you can put like what you have here, more outdoor concession areas, some kiosks to really like enliven or like make the space more for people and less for cars. So currently, as we all know, I keep cutting back to it. This is just like very dead, very kanang not really um habitable. Like sure you can stand there, but there's nothing to do. You have some portable toilets over there. So it's really kanang underutilized or not maximized in space. So if you do something like this, you add more activities, it becomes more kanang people friendly and also more memorable. Let's see here. Yes, so kana siya connection to the parking, to the taxi parking waiting area over there, and maybe maybe if you can let me see here. How much is this? Are you using the 15 meters backing for this area? This length?
Wait, sir. Mura, sir. Yes, yes.
Yeah, more or less it's the same. The backing area should be about the same length as the bus, so you can really fit the bus there. Maybe this landscaping area here can also be developed further. Like you can have some activities here. But this is a very long stretch, so that will make it better as well. Raised platform here is good. Raised platform again here is good. And yeah, this is pretty clean. And maybe you don't need to have the right angles here. You can make this like curved or filleted or chamfered or whatever.
Oh,
Looks
okay, sir,
like,
sir.
yeah, it looks very whole already. And like all the decision making, which is where kind of a lot of the students trip up, like um, a lot of the questions come in like why did you do this, and then students don't know why. Now you exactly know why, because you did it, you analyze the site. That's supposed to be like the standard but we're trying to get more students to do it. I just noticed one more thing. Kanisha na parking
Yes, sir.
uh, has no space to like reverse, so maybe we could reduce the food area, or you can just remove this parking here and maybe move it somewhere up here instead.
Oh,
uh,
okay, sir.
yeah, move that shit somewhere up here because like same road, you just need like the bus itself probably needs about 8 meters here to turn. I think let me double check again. Bus turning radius, it's already turning radius. Let's see, the minimum inside radius is 8.64. So they just make it like 8.8. 8.8 ni siya here.
Um,
8.8, and then you can have like another parking area, something like that, and you can just like extend the island a bit to facilitate that, and extend it here as well to like make it symmetrical because the layout itself is already very symmetrical. So yeah,
Yes, sir.
this can be more green space again, and that,
Mm.
or you can add this as like staff parking like that or something. Up to you how to utilize that. So really, there's a lot of potential in Scheme One, like something like that, bus parking, and you can have more like open space over here like this. So
Okay, sir.
Scheme One all the way. Good start, very good start, and then just develop it further with the same trend. And then this is just for everyone else. The big problem with scheme 2 is that the buses come in here, and basically this whole area is now road, so we don't want that. But on top of that, the buses park here, they reverse, they go out, and they have to go all the way there. So it's like a lot of like travel distance and not very efficient. And
Yes,
then
sir.
if they want to go in here, do they have to make a 180 to park there? So again, this makes scheme 2 very bad. Like they do this, that's a lot of like wasted space.
Yes,
So
sir.
for anyone who has a similar kind of layout, the best way to do something like this is just to, um, if you have your entrance here, you could probably just make a U shape like this. So they park like that, and then it can go out like this, and they go out like that. So it's a lot better. So this kind of U shape is, especially now it's kind of not mirrored, like the parking spaces are here, really makes it kind of underutilized or not very good. So this is bad. Go with scheme 1.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, very good. I really appreciate that you did the site analysis and included it in your presentation. So excellent. Next, we have 9:10. Oh, I went over 20 minutes again. Sorry. Antikina, Rhea, sorry.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please share your screen. Naday si Sir Well. Hi, sir. I didn't notice.
Hello.
Mhm.
So
Okay, I can see. Yep.
sa first scheme nako, sir, kay ang entrance sa bus terminal kay sa Sergio Kuan Boulevard Street nya mo
Okay.
exit siya diri sa Kuan sa Kaohsiung
Kaohsiung,
Street nya ang para sa taxis or private nga vehicle kay anhi sa diri sa Kaohsiung Street mo entrance, and kung pananglit ka na nga naa side sila kailangan pa nga kanang i-wait gani nga, for example ang taxi like ganahan sila ma-wait og mga possible nga kung paano nila
passengers.
mosakay sa ila kanang pinara sila oo naray parking diri nga dali ra sila maka-park diri nga side, and nasa diri ang exit for kanang nga sa mga kanang ganahan na mo mo gawa sa kuan within sa side nya
Mhm.
ang for nasa diri for kanang nga kung naa jay mga taxi sir nga wala gyud mga sud ang ilang sakyanan gani, so naara pod sila own nga entrance gani aron mas mabilis gani ang ilahang pag-enter sa parking area.
Mhm.
And kani sa diri sir kay kaning secondary building nako sir kay ang purpose ani sir kay aron mas kanang ang mga possible gani nga mo sakay sa bus gani kay na sila'y mas duol nga building gani for kanang sa pag buy og ticket or something gani sir kay aron mas duol dili na sila taas og kanang nga walking distance gani sir sa main building nya ang sa mga bus sad sir nga kanang nga dili pa gani iyo sir kay na doon ra diri sa main building niya ang maintenance kay ako lang gi medyo gipalayo kay I'm sure nga murag saba gyud na siya basta labi nagnaa siya ayo gani ang bus. And nya sa scheme to sir ang kanang nga ang sa bus sad sir kay ang entrance ug exit kay sa Sergio lang nako butang kay mas dili man siya kuan dili kayo siya busy nga street gani, so mas dali ang flow gani sa paggawas og pasulod sa bus as long as well as sa kanisad sa private vehicles o sa taxi. Nya ang sa para sa parking sa nako sir sa taxi o sa vehicles kay diri lang nako gibutang kay aron mostly kay kanang nakaw na nasad ko sir ba nga ang mostly sa nga taxi gani nga mupasulod kay naa gani sa SM mostly siya gikan siya sa SM ingana niya nasa niya ang kanang nga dili nga kanang nga mga basad siya nga gamiton sir kay dili gamiton sa sir kay diri sa nako diri lang nga area nako gibutang nya mas duol lang ang maintenance nga shop gani sir sa dili sad nga sa kaning sa may parking area sa kuan sir sa bus ingana lang siya sir.
Okay. I noticed na kay mga analysis pod. Could you just like okay ra kay Bisaya ra pod nimo ang pag sa may what did you notice sa site na imong na-analyze?
Kanang nga kuan sir mas ang kung ang sa scheme 2 sir ang air gani sir mas mukuan siya sa kanang sa diri gani nga side so mas kuan mas nindot gani siya sir ang kuan gani sa hangin kay labi na ang kanang side ra ba sir kay init ra ba siya so mas maayo nga ang building gani sir kay nga nara sa within sa aning area gani nga flow sa wind sir nya kuan sad sir nya kana nga nagkuan sa good sir ba nga kailangan sad sir ba nga ang parking mga parks gani sir kay kana nga init man gyud ang site sir so importante gyud sir ba nga naa siya parks gani sir aron mas malesen gani ang kainit sa site nya kuan sa sir kay kanang saba man gyud ning site kay tungod sa mga cars or mga vehicles nga within sa nasa road so mas kuan gyud ako sa sir sure gyud ako gani sir nga kana nga mas layo gani sa may road ang building.
So gi-buffer nimo siya na dili maabot ang noise. Pero ang akong issue lang diri, ang wind direction asa nimo na gi-base?
Sa kuan sir sa Google Maps.
Okay, na good. Anyway, I have your scheme 1 and scheme 2 here, so I'll give you my notes.
Okay,
So,
sir.
okay, good. Okay yung Bisaya if you're still not used to English. Mag-English ako mo ko yung andan na hugot. And then you just ask questions. Feel free to ask questions. It's like, dili ko masabtan or like, what do you call it? You don't understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay, sir.
Okay na good. Pakata na lang. So, the thing that really jumped out to me at the very start is in both schemes, ngano kuan man 4 lanes ang bus.
Kay akong departure be gani sir kay pananglit sir kay kung ang ilaha nga bus gani sir nga padulong sir ba kay sa mga mo sakay gani sa bus sir kay kanang hapit na gani sir like murag mo announce gani ang diring sa main building sir nga hapit na ilang bus mo na sila mo anhi sa mga may arrival bay gani sir sa kanang na sila mo nga para murag mas kuan gani nila sir.
Okay, kay gi-separate nimo ang loading ug unloading sa idle bus parking.
Yes sir.
Okay. Let me see here. Here sa actual na site, ilan ang gi-combine ang
Yes,
loading and unloading ug idle parking. I think from based on my observations, if you see, let me take a screenshot and then go over here. So for our project, you can also do the same. So para di na kayo hago or you don't have to use as much space anymore. And then you can reduce again. Muna ato ang goal for this class is to really create spaces na for people, dili lang for vehicles. So let me get my brush out here. So these buses here, they're all loading and also unloading. You notice they have the tents to like shelter the people waiting to get onto the bus. And these buses here are the idle buses. And notice there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. In your layout, you have 20 idle bus parking. I'm assuming not 20 ni siya.
Yes, sir.
So dako na kayo imo ang road. Pero another thing on top of that is, for me, murag daghan na kay kag paved surface areas. Let me just make sure I'm on the right layer. So they enter here, and then to get to the waiting area, kailangan pa sa mo reverse para maabot sila diri. So imagine na ang movement sa bus ha. Bus na diri, para maabot siya diri sa arrival bay, mo atras siya, para mo position diri. Or after the arrival bay, di siya ka asa mayang bus diri lang. Yung parking, idle parking is just here. So this idle parking here is really not kanang useful. So you can remove that. You can include that in the building footprint. And then your idle bus parking will probably be just this one over here. Okay. And then you're making the arrival bay kanang double loaded on both sides. When people are just waiting in this area, I'll just change the color. People are waiting in this area. So it's hard for them to access the bus on this area without crossing the road. So I know it's a bit hard to imagine na kay mo man ni ang current standard karon na normal na para nato na ang tao na mo labang lang gyud maski asa. What we're trying to do is improve on that mindset, make it more like international standards. So if you like, look at bus terminal London, for example. Let's look at images over here. For example, something like this. So you have the waiting. Let me save this image here. Just to like help you with that. So try to avoid na double bay. Try to do something more like this. London is not the gold standard, or is not the best place for buses. For just like as an example, so what's going on outside. Now, let me see here. The waiting area is here. Notice single file lang. And then notice this is the area for the people. And then in red, this is the area for the bus. Gamay ra gyud kay ang road para sa bus. They're using the minimum road for the bus. And this is like incoming traffic here. So they probably looking at this, they come in this way and then they go out that way. And this is, I think, a separate sort of traffic movement here. Looking very busy, not the best example, but what I really want to highlight for our class is really don't give so much road space. It's very valuable ang land. Ang land si mong lot na you don't have the sort of opportunity to add so much road space because it becomes like a waste na. So ako between the two schemes, I think what we call this, scheme 1 is better. Scheme 2 looks a bit messier, especially with all the lanes over here, like 4 lanes here, 4 lanes there. I think it'll be easier na set up. Also, you have like a bigger park area over here. Ang kaning secondary building for waiting area, maybe you don't need that because you already have this.
Okay.
You can have the ticket buying included in this, especially if you're going to reduce. So currently 2 lanes man siya.
Yes, sir.
Himuon na nato na siya single lane. So for example lang if you stick with this plan, maybe this will be building footprint over here. So you can like increase your building footprint. You can have more rentable space like this, like that. And then you can increase your garden area if you reduce the lane. So like this, ano na lang. And then like this, single lane na lang. And then when you go up here, you can have like more idle, maybe more idle parking if you really want it there. And then this turning radius, you can increase the coverage of this, increase the open space here. So basically subtract one lane and you can have more like park area here. So that's thousands and thousands of square meters na imo na save. Like that. Kana na siya. And then when you're developing this area here, so think about ang movements vehicles bitaw. So they come in here, they park a bit and they go out, but they also have the option to go here. So na kay conflict diri. So much better you just make this whole area your entrance and exit like that, and then you can just remove this area here. You can make it a smaller, just separate lang, or you have less conflict. Like another drop-off area for people coming in sa Osmeña Boulevard, Sergio Osmeña Boulevard, something like that. And then you're again reducing the road space, and you're increasing more valuable kanang green open space or kanang sellable space. And maybe you can even extend your building footprint, something like that. Like that. So now you've significantly reduced your road or like paved surface areas. You increase your sellable areas, and you increase your open space. So much more efficient Paranaco. Anyway, this is how I would develop it. You can also do your own way, but these are just my suggestions. Okay. Oh, and sorry, I'm really taking time. For wind direction, you can Google windrows diagram Cebu, like this. For everyone, windrows Cebu annual. Windrows annual, because you want the yearly sort of kanang data. You don't, because they also provide daily data. Accept and continue. So this is the wind data for today, April. Wait, says here, yeah. I don't know what this 13 is. April 13 to April 20. So most of the wind is coming in from the northeast. So if you look at your diagram, is it coming from the northeast? Asa to say? Rhea, is it coming from the northeast?
Dili, sir.
Yeah. So just be careful with that. I'll give you the link. The link is here. And then, sorry, I need to go to the next student. But yeah, stick with scheme 1, reduce the roads, and like double check your wind directions. Where's the annual one? The annual one is, I think, this one over here. Okay, this is the annual one over here. I have to go overtime. Good for the other students. Sorry, we were supposed to finish at 8:20, and now it's already at 9:20. Now it's already 9:39. No, let's see. Anyway, Natalie, are you here? Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, sir. Good morning, sir.
See, go ahead, share your screen.
Okay. So, sir, I have 3 schemes. Kaya last time when I pa-consult, I think you told me to include the 2. So I ended up having 3. So we have schematic 1A, schematic 1B,
Mm.
and schematic 2. So for schematic 1, sir, okay, so I focus on putting a large open space, and I focused on making the buses exit towards the north. So what I found out, sir, was that these areas, which is where the series north buses go to, is
Oh, very
towards
good.
north. So it would have been better for buses to exit through here, just because it's if the buses exit through the 30-meter road, it would mean that they have to go all the way around, and it's not efficient for the buses.
Excellent. Yes,
Yeah.
good data.
And another thing, sir, is that By following this form, Circa, you're putting everything into one building, and also people can access the bus terminal from all sides, and it also seals off like the pedestrian area here at the back. So
Mm.
let's say if people are coming from the Radisson area, okay, they can just go straight to the mall or to the bus terminal without having to cross the road or where the
Good.
buses pass.
Mm.
And then I know na last consultation last week we had, so you told me not to include bus parking, but I added na lang for PWD and for the staff,
Mm.
if ever. And I added an open space here, sir, at the bottom, just for inner city revitalization, because like what you said last time, you told us na not the only open spaces available there, sir, kay they're private property.
Mm.
So it's not you can't people can't exactly access it, sir.
Mm.
Sorry,
Yes.
that's
Good.
here. In addition to that, it's also close to SM, so people from SM can easily access it. And with this form, sir, kay, we have the people from SM right here. They can easily just go into the building. And with the buses, sir, adding the service garage at the end, I think it just makes more sense, sir, kay, if ever they can just go in diretso as well.
Mm.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, so for schematic B, sir, is that I just mirrored it, sir, but by mirroring it, sir, I ended up having less space for service garage. However, uh, the by mirroring it, sir, it satisfies the sun path diagram. So since most people would probably be ending up waiting near the bus area, which is here,
Mm.
it makes sense to make it less hot in that area. And since afternoon sun is much hotter,
Mm.
sir, so that's around, it hits this area first
Mm.
compared to where people usually wait. And also by adding open space, sir, it also buffers the noisiness from the 30-meter road and 20-meter road. And
Mm.
people from SM have a much easier access to the bus terminal just because this entire area would probably be open to
Yes.
SM.
Closer to
And
SM. Mm.
yep, and also I added parking spaces again, sir. I know like not needed, kaya there's like a big SM mall parking na
Mm.
here. And I didn't include jeepney just because like around I think 20 meters here, there's already a jeepney terminal in front of SM. So
Mm.
murag, it kind of seemed
Redundant. Mm.
redundant already. And yeah, I also made for this one, however, sir, I made the buses exit through the 30-meter national road just because the flow kind of goes with it.
Mm.
And I made use of diagonal parking spaces, so 30 degrees. This is
Mm.
90 degrees. This one is 30 degrees. So I consulted with like an experienced architect who's
Mhm.
designed bus terminals before, and he said that it's much better for buses to actually have diagonal and one way. So I made sure that all my schematics were one way and as much as possible diagonal, but I didn't do it for this one, just so there's a
Who
variety.
did you consult? Can we get him in the class?
Oh, he's really busy right now. Sir. He's at work.
Ah, maybe we can like schedule. Okay, for me, I really haven't designed a bus terminal before, so I'm just going off research and my experience. And maybe if you can ask your experienced friend, just 5 minutes, like just we can just interview him for 5 minutes, maybe even like when he's free, so I can get more data, even if it's just me and him.
Oh, okay, sir. I'll try asking, sir.
Because
uh,
for me,
okay.
more data is really more important. And okay, also, you guys know, I probably have the least experience among all the teachers because like I went into Australia and I was basically just a draftsman. So my architectural practice experience is very limited. I'm always open to learning more from our friends.
Okay, sir. I'll try asking him, sir.
Sige, sige.
Okay. Another thing about the schematic, sir, is that it actually looks good from the 30-meter road,
Mm,
and the bus circulation doesn't interfere with the taxi, jeep, or private vehicle circulation, which is this purple line right here. So that's the circulation
mm,
for the buses. Whereas for schematic 1A, it kind of goes through the same road. So yeah, and then
Let's look
what's I
at the
gonna
third
say?
one. Yep.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot, sir. So for both schematic 1A, schematic 1B, and schematic 2, basically, sir, the when I looked at the site, oops, wrong tab, right here, over there. Okay, so from Radisson, sir, you have like a decent sidewalk right there. It's pretty
Yes.
wide. But when you go to our site, sir, you barely have anything there.
Yeah.
So it's really tiny, sir. So what I did was I developed it na lang, sir. So this is from Radisson. And then when you go in, I added a plant strip around 1 meter wide and a 2 meter wide. Wait, was that 2 meter one or 3 meters? That was a 4 meter sidewalk. So I made use of the buffer that was added here. So 5 meter setback, and then 30 meters from the edge of the lot to the entrance, like what you said last time, sir. So I just made use of that for the building and the sidewalk. But for this guy, I made use of it for the open space and the sidewalks as well. So I added a planting strip all over just for safety purposes, also aesthetics. Yeah. And also audio. Okay, for schematic 2, personally, it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. Okay.
it has two separate buildings, which I'm not sure about, but I probably could connect it, sir, with like a covered walkway right here. And as well as the second floors, I could probably connect it. But with this one, sir, I developed the sidewalks, and it also exits towards the north. And however, I did use 45-degree angled parking slots, sir. So these are 4 by 12, the standard. And yeah, so the entire left side is just green open spaces, sir. And I added another one here. So this one is more bus centric, and it also focuses more on security, whereas the schematic 1 and schematic 1A and schematic 1B, they focus more on the people side of things. So
Yeah.
originally, sir, with schematic B, it was supposed to be one way exiting towards the north as well. So it should have gone this way, but I made just to make it different and to make it more people centric, I edited it to exit the 30-meter road because I don't know if you noticed, sir, but with this one, sir, it interferes with pedestrians going through this area. Whereas here, sir, it doesn't really interfere with the people because it closes it off. So this is just all for the people. Yeah, sir. So
Very good.
basically, that is it. And yeah, this one satisfies the sun study as well.
Yeah.
And this one, sir, it satisfies the security side of things. It has a more controlled opening. So we have a guardhouse here, here, and here. Whereas for this one, we do have a guardhouse on each side. Same for this one, sir. But because of the big open space, I think it's gonna be harder to monitor who goes in and out of the terminal, sir.
Okay. Okay. So can I look at scheme 1 again? Yes, we appreciate. Sir Will saying appreciates you using AutoCAD. Okay. Okay. Scheme 1. Okay. So save. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. I'll share my screen. I really want to know kanang um, the opinions put of our expert friend. But for me, I think I really like the simplicity of Scheme 1. Plus, I have a bias for one open space. And
Mhm.
we can address the security issue. I have some ideas on that. This is really the problem why we don't have a lot of public open spaces. Yes, security is a thing. And Cebuanos are not the most kanang, in general, I think there is really this kanang stigma na daghan manulis, magtulis, o kanang whatever, blah blah blah, unsafe, makawatan, etc. So that is an issue. That is the reality. Pero I think we can still have the open space. So how do we deal with this? Let me see here. And so for me, let's see. You can really tell the difference of having one building versus two buildings. Very obvious. Now you have to connect them. There's an issue on like how do people walk towards or like access both buildings. So I really have I really prefer scheme 1A and scheme 1B. Now, the thing here, which between the two, I would prefer 1B again because for me it's really important to make the terminal as accessible to the SM side as possible. So whether it be from this corner, the Radisson SM corner, or just the SM parking side, Scheme 1 successfully, Scheme 1B, or let's just call it Scheme 2, successfully does that. Okay, so I prefer this. And then the thing I would change is because as you mentioned, it's a lot better for them to exit on the Kaohsiung Street. Just reverse the entrance. So that's your entrance there. That's your exit there. And then reverse your, what do you call this, the angle. So it will be like that. And then like that. Oops. I'm just exaggerating it so it's easier. So they park in like this, they reverse, and then they go out like that. Next issue is the security of the open space. So the thing here to keep in mind is to keep it visible from all sides, not to have such tall trees, but instead focus on like shrubbery and kanang, what do you call this? Very thin, very kanang unobtrusive na shelter space. Like maybe the roof will be like that lang, like that lang. And then you can have like a center lighting feature with a fountain or whatever. So it's a nice waiting area. You can also make it safer by adding more activities, more like kiosks, more people. So typically, human behavior, there's less sort of temptation to do criminal activity if there's a lot of people around or like there's a lot of people watching you. So people will police themselves. Also, make sure that the the places where people sit or eat or gather is very visible from the building itself. Maintain like clear sight lines. So, for example, if I do an elevation here, maybe something like this. Oops, wrong color, something like that. If you have like a seating area like this, seating area na siya, try not to have any like shrubbery here so that the people from the building side, they're standing here, they can clearly see the person sitting here. So remove that, remove any kind of blockage or whatever. And then also, so there's no shrubbery there. Also introduce a lot of PX lighting. It could be like the small foot lighting over here or like a lamp like that. So makita gid ang tao 24/7. So it's basically that idea is called passive surveillance. If you look at the images here, there should be a diagram somewhere. It doesn't pop up, but I can like discuss that further. So anyway, because we're running out of time, scheme 2 for me, or your what you call scheme 1B, and hopefully let me know what your kanang friend thinks. Which one is his preference? Siya mang bus terminal expert.
Sir, can I show you something real quick, said sir?
Sige, go ahead.
For the scheme, actually, I also prefer the scheme 1B, sir.
Yeah. So prepare na lang, Russ. You were supposed to go at 9:30, it's already 10. Sorry for the delay. And the rest I will go through with you today. Good. We'll like probably just extend until 12 kapin na kita.
Okay, sir. So I already made like a partial plan, sir. So basically, sir, kaya sa open space, kaya maybe like like supermercado or like the one you said ganina, sir, like open stalls. And then also the retail concession spaces would be somewhere here. So as I said, oh, don't mind that, sorry, sir. This is from soon. But basically just the inside of the building. And I was told na the arrival bay and departure bay are basically on the same space. And I think another great thing about this schematic, sir, is that it has a pretty good circulation for the interiors of the space. So murag, it's less confusing when they get in. It's like the foyer, Jud, and depending on where they go here or here, sir. And yeah, is this something like this okay, sir? This is
Yeah,
just
okay
large
na for now.
normal.
Just like on the next step there would be providing the people entering the building directions to where the buses are, like which buses go where, like kind of like an airport without like signage in the foyer area.
Ah, okay, sige, sir.
And then what's missing here is the staff area. So you have the ticketing
Oh,
area,
yeah.
but there are no like where's the staff, the admin office,
Oh, it's here, sir,
the
at the back.
oh, there's the admin office. Okay, in the ticketing area. And then what other else spaces do we have here sa design problem? So
It's here, sir.
near the admin area you have the where is it? Staff area. Oh, yeah, there you go. Admin office. Sorry, I was looking at my screen. Lockers for that. So yeah, the lockers for the staff, pantry for the staff, etc. etc.
I think sa second floor siguro nasa, sir, majority.
Pwede ra. Pwede ra.
Yeah.
But let me see here. I think it'd be better put sa ground floor because second floor typically you want that for kanang the private users, not the private users, the customers, because like more open areas and you kanang. I guess it depends on your design, but anyway, this is the right direction.
Okay, sige, sir. Thank you, sir.
We'll develop that further. Okay, sorry for the delay. Nagkaligitan mo discuss. Next one.
Good
Tolo
morning,
Russ.
sir.
Yes,
Share
go
screen.
ahead. Okay. We're 1, 2, 3, 4 people delayed, so I'll go a bit faster here. Okay. Sorry, medyo choppy ang audio. Hello?
Nakita na, sir.
Hala, nag-loading pa yun.
Wait, sir.
Sige, I'll stop recording na sa so we can divide up the videos into like different parts.